Hey, welcome back to KM6 LYW Radio. This is the show where we talk about amateur radio with an emphasis on digital modes, trying to reimagine them in the information age. So we're doing a lot of keyboard to keyboard stuff, email, whatever we can do digitally over amateur radio. That's what we're focusing on here. All right, so this is kind of like the contact series. Yeah, we're doing a different type of contact, a different mode, maybe every other week. So, every time there's a new mode, I have to figure it out. I have to make a contact. Today, we're going to talk about Olivia. There's a mode called Olivia, keyboard to keyboard mode on HF. We're going to talk about it today, this time on KM6 LYW Radio. All right, welcome back. That's right. Low production value here. That's what we've got on KM6 LYW Radio. Can't afford bumper music, so we make our own. Back to Olivia. Okay, so we've talked about PSK. We've talked about CW as kind of a digital mode, especially if you're doing modulated CW, which we've done. So I really like the keyboard to keyboard modes. You're probably familiar with JS8 call, where you can talk to people, and that's a great ultra low signal to noise ratio mode. Let's talk about Olivia. Olivia is kind of there's different widths to the mode, and there's like a tone rate or a number of tones that you can emit. And so this is just modulated. It's just a bunch of tones that jump around on inside with a particular frequency, and you can have different widths and a different number of tones. So, I'm just like anyone else. It's like, well, there's Olivia. I don't know anything about it. Let's check it out on the internet. So, I found this groups.io posting, and then they've got all these proposed calling frequencies, because you can't just start emitting tones on some random frequency and hope somebody hears it. There's usually a preferred calling frequency for every mode, and Olivia is no exception. So, in this case, one of the proposals, and I've seen this other places, is we see it on 20 meters at 14.0714 megahertz, and that's the dial frequency. So you actually want to transmit 1500 hertz right above that, using your radio, and we're going to do that using FL Digi. So 140714. That's not exactly where we are now, are we? Oh, it's 140714. I'm just going to go there right now. There it is. Sometimes it helps to actually lock. I'm going to put the dial lock on because I'm always going to bump it. Okay, and then what we're going to use to send our signals and do all of this cool stuff, we're going to use the DigiPi for one. And we're going to use a function on the DigiPi called FL Digi. Actually, I don't know if it's running. I'm gonna clear it off here. These are all the different services that the DigiPi does. That's what you see down here is the DigiPi. It's like a $15 Raspberry Pi, assuming you're gonna find one in the supply shortage. Hopefully we'll look back on this video fondly and laugh off this supply shortage. But again, a $15 Raspberry Pi Zero, 2 wireless, and maybe another $15 little display on there on top of that. And that is the DigiPi, and it drives right now an ICOM 7300 via the USB cable. If you want to know more about the DigiPi, it's Krager.org/DigiPi. Krager.org/DigiPi. It's available to patrons of the channel. All of the technologies we talk about on this channel are just wedged into a single SD card, and then all available to you using your Wi-Fi device or your web browser and your computer. All accessible. You don't need to be an engineer or a Linux person to do this. So this is the DigiPi management interface. There's nothing on it right now. I'm going to go ahead and click on FL Digi down here towards the bottom. And FL Digi is an app that does basically anything that isn't FT8 or slow scan or JS8 call. It does all like PSK31, Hell, Contessa, Olivia. It does a whole bunch of cool modes, and you can see it's in FL Digi mode right now just by looking at the screen, and then click on FL Digi right here. And we're going to see the actual FL Digi app running on the Raspberry Pi. It's actually in filter 2 mode. I'm going to widen up this filter a little bit, just so we can see what's going on here. Now, at the bottom of the screen of FL Digi here, we see the signal about 3,000 hertz width at 140714, and I don't see any Olivia users. We want to be about 1500 hertz off of our dial frequency, so I'm going to move this red box down here, and I'm going to move the left edge right at 1500. I think that's the way to do it. I'm not an Olivia expert, okay? We're going to try and make contacts here today. I'm probably going to screw it up, fail spectacularly. If I'm lucky, that's what'll happen. So I think I'm on the right calling frequency, and I'm going to go ahead and call CQ. The radio looks okay, and I am currently set to. Actually, I see another signal right there. I don't want to stomp that guy either. I might pause you guys until he's done. I think that's a narrower Olivia signal. In fact, what we might do is switch over to an 8-tone 250. I don't know. That might work. But let me just try that. I'm going to go over here and I'm going to click on op mode, and I can come down to Olivia, and I'm going to do 8250. You know what? The signal just vanished. But notice how this little red box got a little narrower. So, that's a 250 hertz width signal. And of course, wouldn't you know it, as soon as you change modes to match what you think you see, and you have to kind of guess what that signal is in your op mode. And there's a bunch of different Olivia ones. What we're going to do today is going to be 16. I actually wrote it down so I wouldn't forget here. We're going to do 8 500. So that's 8 tones, 500 hertz width. So let me just go back to that. It's 8 tones, 500 hertz width, and I'm going to put it right on 1500. And then I'm going to press CQ down here. I'm going to turn this up so you guys can hear it. Yeah, static, but listen to this. That's Olivia. And this is me calling CQ. All I did was press a button here, the CQ button. And it's saying CQ, CQ, CQ from KM6LYW, KM6LYW, PSEK. I don't know the exact protocol here. And then we're going to listen for a response, okay? I'll turn that down a little bit so it's not too annoying. And you might have to do this over and over and over. I'm going to do this a few times. In fact, I'm probably going to pause the video, do a bunch of CQs, and see if we can get someone to respond. In fact, I see a real weak signal there right now. Let me see. Boy, it's just barely there. And, we'll start seeing decodes here in the upper yellow area, assuming that I'm on the right number of tones and the right width of the signal. And sometimes it can take 10 seconds for it to kind of lock on, but once it locks on, it seems to work really well. So I'll be honest with you guys, I've been decoding a lot of Olivia with different widths and tone numbers, but I haven't really made a contact yet. So I'm going to keep calling CQ, especially when this channel is more available. That's a real distant signal. I mean, I could just barely see it on the waterfall, and I certainly couldn't hear it. All right, so let me call CQ a few more times, and we'll see if we can get a contact. All right, so I caught the end of a transmission. This is a Canadian station. I'm in California. This is VE6XMB. I'm not sure if he was calling CQ, so I'm going to call CQ on top of him. He was clearly Olivia 16500. You can see in the bottom left corner there. And so I just kind of had to guess under Olivia, based on the width. The width is 500, and I think the bit rate is 16. So I selected 16500 and trying to answer his whatever his transmission was. He's in Canada. That's a ways. That might be a stretch. But he's pretty clear, and I'm only at about 33 watts. Yeah, there's some PSK 31 down below us here, and that's cool. I can call CQ again. Sounds cool though, huh? If you weren't sure, it would sounds like a Vara FM signal, a little bit. I don't know who took from who there. You notice it's in 3-character bursts also. It's like packed ASCII or packed decimal. And that's the end. Yep, there's a signal starting. Yeah, I'm not decoding anything. I'm at 16500. There's a bunch of equal signs. It says KM6LYW. Well, he's responding. He's either going to complain that I'm stomping on his frequency, which this is the calling frequency, or he's answering CQ. And that looks like he's answering. So I'm going to say VE6XMB. Thanks for reply. I'm going to do start transmitting. My name is Craig, and location is Cool, California. I can't put CA because he's in Canada, and might be a little confusing. I can say you're my first Olivia contact. I'm recording this for YouTube. Back to you, VE6XMB to KM6LYW. And I'm going to do Control R, and that should stop the transmission. I think it sounds cool. It's the least annoying mode. I mean, I can always turn it down. I've got the volume right here. And it always seems to be lagging a little bit. So it's like the decode happens like a few seconds. Transmission starts, goes for a while. There's some handshaking going on, and then the actual decode happens a little bit after you actually hear stuff. So let's say it's back to you, VE6XMB from KM6LYW, and it's continuing, and that's it. So that's him coming back to me. All right. So it takes a little while before it starts decoding up here. I don't know. It's totally cool though. This is fun mode. I like it already. First real Olivia contact, and I thought it would be on like 8250, but he was at 16500. Boy, there's just no errors in the signal stream either. He's at 16500. We're not exactly 1500 off, 1500 hertz off of the calling frequency of 140714. And he's saying 100% print. Is that good? I don't know. He's going to give me a report of 579. Signal to noise ratio. That's a good one to do. See, his signal to noise ratio is 13 dB. Mine is 5 dB. So bigger is better. Usually they're like negative numbers. And so his signal is 6, 7. I'm watching the lower left-hand corner. He's at 4, 6. And so if I'm at 5, we're almost equal. And then he's saying, I guess if this is for YouTube, I had better make sure it's cool how it comes in 3-character bursts. My spelling is good. I'm going to pause you guys so you don't have to endure this entire transmission. All right, he completed his transmission, and he says, I guess this is for YouTube. I better make sure my spelling's good. I'll let you guys read that. So I'm going to say VE6MB from KM6LYW. You sound great. I like the sound of this girl. And his, you are 5 to 10 dB on the using FL Digi on. I am also using an ICOM 7300 at 33 watts. I see you on QRZ. We're a 873 miles. Sorry, I don't know the kilometers. Apart. I love that area of Canada. I'm in the I'm in the hills here. Sierra Nevada foothills. On, let's say, just west of Lake Tahoe. Thanks again for the contact. Look for me on YouTube. I'm gonna say look for me and yourself on YouTube on the KM6LYW radio channel. Question mark. And I can say back to you, VE6XMB from, that's what day means in most languages, KM6LYW. I'll do Control R. So he said, good to meet you for the first time, and this is your first Olivia contact. I think you will love Olivia. She's a great old gal and works when nothing else does. He says his QTH is Alberta, southern Alberta, which is the province of Canada for the international audience here. About 45 minutes north of the Montana border and about the same east of the Rockies. That's the Rocky Mountains. He's at 30 watts from an ICOM 7300, which is almost exactly what I'm doing here. I don't know, I picked 33 watts. It seemed like a third of my power. And I don't want this thing to overheat either. I mean, I should have the meters on watching the temperature, but this is running cool. And check it out. Look at the print. It's like 100%. There's no errors. This is really easy to read. You know, it's a little wider than like a PSK signal. Like the PSK 31 signal is literally 31 hertz wide, and this is more like, 500 hertz wide, from 1500 to 2000. And I'm not really at a 1500 hertz offset. I'm kind of above that. That's where he was. So I just matched his offset from the dial frequency of 140714. I don't know if this is legit or not. I really don't know. So I'm still transmitting here. This is our guy, VE6XMB. You can see the run on the map here. That's a pretty good distance here for 33 watts on 20 meters today. And that's Robert McMillan. He's in Alberta. Thank you, Robert, for the contact today. I really appreciate it. I hope you're watching this video when it comes out. All right. I'll put him back over here. God, this is cool. And that was the end of my transmission. Let's see what he says. And now he's getting back to me. Look how loud this is. Hopefully you can like hear my voice over the noise of the radio. I got it turned up a little bit so you can hear it through the mic here. This is totally fun. All right, so I don't know what the equal signs are. You guys tell me what those equal signs are. Each of his transmissions starts with equal signs. Robert, let me know. Is he going by Robert or Bob? I'm going to go on the scroll back here. He goes by Rob. Rob, sorry. I won't call you Robert. I'll call you Rob. So KM6LYW Craig, that's me. Day, which is from in most languages, Rob. VE6XMB, 100% print. So I guess that's what you say when you're doing an Olivia thing. What's your print rate? So his FL Digi is reporting signal to noise ratio. That's this little thing that I'm sure you can't read in the very bottom left corner. It says S/N. He says FL Digi reports signal to noise in a different way to... I wonder what his reports over here. So he's getting... So this is like an S9 on the S meter over here. And I've got this at full width. I mean, I could turn on the filter to drop that down a little bit. That's even a little tight. I'm kind of cutting them off there. This is the only thing. See how the audio filter cut it down a little bit? There's less static. But I'm still reading them. I wasn't sure if that was going to cut them off. It's a tighter filter. Filter 2, whatever the default is on the 7300. It says FL Digi reports signal to noise in a different way to that of DM780, the Ham Radio Deluxe, which isn't going to happen for me since I'm on a Linux desktop. No Windows here. But really, the only thing that matters is the quality of the print. So qualify that if you're sending it's giving them a signal to noise ratio report. Look at this. It is now 24:26. So adding the filter reduced a lot of the noise and really increased his signal to noise ratio, at least the way FL Digi measures it. So I'm going to tell him with a tighter filter, I've got him a signal to noise up to 26. How wide is that filter? About 1,000? It's about 1,500 wide. 1,500 hertz wide. All right, he says, I will put on my dark glasses and take a look at YouTube when you have posted. Hopefully this is embarrassing. Thank you, Rob, for putting up with this. I will let you know. I'll get a hold of you here. Actually, I got you up on QRZ right now, so that'll be cool. And he's saying, I hope we can work each other. I'm going to pause you for the rest of this transmission. All right, to work each other again another day. I am sure we have some good stories to swap. Until next time, Craig, 73 Craig, thanks for the Olivia 16/500 QSO. Keep smiling and keep safe. KM6LYW Craig from Rob, VE6XMB. So VE6XMB, I'm going to start the transmission here. Day KM6LYW radio. Thanks a million for the contact. I'll be in touch. via email, as I'll have some more stupid questions for you. Uh, I reduced my filter to 1500 hertz, and your SN came up to plus 26. Crystal clear. Okay, Rob, have a good one. I'll be in touch. Good day from, I'll just say, what am I saying? VE6XMB KM6LYW. Good day, and what, I don't know, how do you end a conversation? I'll just say SK like he did. You know, one way to learn how to do the communication protocols, obviously you can say whatever you want, but you know, there are some conventions you need to follow. And so I think when we're really done, we'll just say SK, you know, at the very end, and that'll be it. So I'm gonna hit Control R here after the SK, and you can see it's still transcoding and modulating my text into Olivia 16500. You know, I was looking over on the other website here. Actually, it's not in my browser cache. Yeah, that's a QRZ. You know, I was looking for calling frequencies, right? These are them. And so I just found this at groups.io. Someone has a bunch of proposed calling frequencies for Olivia. And it says 8250 is the most common mode, you know, tones and bandwidth. So there's 8 tones and 250. But, you know, here, Rob and I are hanging out at 16 tones at 500 width. So I don't know. You guys tell me if there's a standard there. It'd be cool to follow it. And I called CQ today probably, wow, I don't know. I can scroll back. You can see maybe 10, 15 times. And then Rob came through. I don't know if I interrupted Rob or if he actually answered my CQ. Rob will ask you that in email. And that's the end of my transmission. Oh, there's something coming back. He's going to say dit or something clever here. So it takes a while for the handshake. And then we'll start the decodes. Oh, that whole thing, all of that noise was a dit. So it was a smiley face, dit. And then he says VE6XMB. So yeah, it does take a while to decode. I mean, because that transmission was over a little while ago. All right, we did it. We made a contact. And in fact, it wasn't just a contact, it was a DX contact. All right, so we made it to another nation, the nation of Canada from the United States. DX contact. So that's really my first time I've called CQ, got a response back, had a QSO officially, almost no noise, and it was a DX contact. So hey, DXers out there, check out Olivia. You know, maybe if the other frequencies are jammed, or maybe you're not propagating or something, hey, try Olivia on 20 meters. Try it on some of these other bands as well. All right, so we talked about the DigiPi. You guys know how to get that if you want to try this out. If you have any comments, let me know, you know, how Olivia works for you in the comments. I'm really kind of curious. I'm new to this just like you guys. If you want to get a DigiPi, of course, Krager.org/DigiPi for patrons of KM6LYW Radio. Speaking of patrons, you know, this would not exist at all if it wasn't for you guys. So your support's overwhelming here. So this is the list. At some point, I'm just going to have to do like a fast scroll. And, you know, I'm not going to be able to read names here. There's just so many of you. Listen to me complaining about this, right? So Fu, thank you. Michael, Lalk. Am I getting your last name right? Michael? Hey, reach out to me. Let me know what your Lalk. I'm sure I'm saying that wrong. Brian Schultz, Jake, Jason, Steve, Christopher Williams, Simon. You guys have been with me the longest. Guys, I really appreciate it. This is just so much fun, and you guys are encouraging me. Ryan, Don, Rolf, Buddy Brown. We got Claude, Glenn, Strecker. Glenn, thanks for the email exchange on the DigiPi stuff and featuring DigiPi on your show. I'm really looking forward to part B on that. Glenn, thank you, Glenn. Eddie, Matthew, Brian, John, Gordon, Fallen Yoda. Hey, Rufus, Ronald, Fred, David. I've got 2 Davids in a row. Tom, Carl, Scott, Jake, Mandrake, Mark, Robert, John, James, Jim, Martin, Wayne, Fred, Doug, JD, David, Jerry, Dusty, James, Ronald, Jamie Kalex. Am I getting that right? PD1PME. Thank you, Martin, Andrew, James again. James, lots of James. Ronald, Kenny, Brian, Graham, Chris, Robert, Jurgen, Jedi Master Eon. See, if you have a clever name, I'm gonna read it right. Jedi Master Eon. Is there an Eon in the saga? I don't know. I can't remember. Hal, Paul, and all the way down to Chris. Hey, thanks a bunch, guys. So again, this has been KM6LYW radio production. Really talking about digital modes here. Let me know what your favorite digital mode is. I'll try a contact. At least I'll give it a try. That's what I can promise. Maybe we'll get something cool. KM6LYW radio. My name is Craig, and I'm clear.